Good evening and welcome to today's video, which will be about self-worth and how to gain it. Self-worth is something that is very, very, very important, and if we don't have self-worth, it is something that will filter our whole lives in all kinds of areas. It can be that you choose destructive relationships. It can be that you're not allowing yourself to succeed fully at work. It can be that you say no to opportunities. It can be that you are in circumstances that are self-sabotaging. It can be that you are in destructive relationships when it comes to friends. It can be that you put yourself down because you say yes to things that you really don't want to say yes to. It can have many different phases, this lack of self-worth, but it is something that we have to dare to see what it is, because if we don't, what will happen then is that it will be of expense of our own lives. Self-worth is something that needs to be remembered as it is something that needs to be remembered as the worth of the self, which means that it is all about you and you. It is about your relationship to oneself, to yourself. So when, for example, that you are going around in your own business, in your own house, and you are just by yourself, no one is looking at you, no one is there to judge you as good or bad, wrong or right. It is only you and yourself and what you know you are doing and thinking. I'm talking about patterns of behaviors, like the actions we're doing in the outside world, but I'm also talking about our internal dialogue and how we are treating ourselves within ourselves. We can do the right things but still have a terrible inner dialogue. Still we can say to ourselves that we're not enough and all of that. So of course, when we are building self-worth, it is truly important that we are doing the right action, that we are doing the action that we ourselves would respect if we were to respect ourselves. So for example, you think of yourself, if you truly want to gain self-worth, will I respect myself for doing this? Will I, you can always also think of, if anyone saw you, would you be ashamed or not for what you're doing? Could you stand for what you're doing or not? But the best way that I know of, that truly builds my own self-worth and integrity and self-respect and all of that, is just between me and myself. And I say, do I respect myself if I choose to think this about myself, or if I choose to do that I know is not really the right thing to do, that's a lazy way or whatever. Would I respect myself then? And so it's always about, when it comes to self-worth and myself, and I still have a lot to work on with it, especially with my inner dialogue, that it's about to choose to love myself unconditionally, and despite the learned dialogue and behavior of not thinking the best of myself, that I choose love and do what I know in my heart is the right thing to do. Because no matter how lost anyone of us are at times, what we always have is the conscious in our own hearts. Deep down, we always know what is right and what is wrong. We know in our hearts that it is not right to criticize ourselves in a way that is not constructive. When we criticize ourselves, it always has to be because we want to improve and get better, not because we just want to bring ourselves down. Then we are actually bullying ourselves if we're doing that. So it is always, when it comes to spirituality, a journey between, myself and myself. It's between you and you. And the relationship that we have with ourselves is a relationship that we will have with other people too. Meaning that people cannot provoke us the same way anymore. Or when bad things, so-called bad things, happens to us, we take them in a different way. We respond in a different way. And we get stronger because in the end, what we truly all want is to feel loved and approved of, and that we matter, and that what we do matter, and that we are enough. And when we choose to only do actions which we ourselves would respect, then the worthiness will come. And this subject is so huge because it is literally in all areas of our lives. It is from thought to thought, not just action to action. It is not just about how I treat myself in my home, or how I treat myself at work, or how do I treat myself when other people don't treat me right. All of that is also a part of it. But it is also just in the common things, like how do I treat myself in my internal dialogue when I walk from the grocery store to another store, or when you are just doing your random things in the house, or whatever you're doing, how do you treat yourself then? And you can also just think, like, if you don't know if you're acting through self-worthiness or not, you can think of the person that you would want yourself to be and think, how would that person do in that situation? I myself like to have myself as an example. For me, I have a sense of self that I know exists within me, that I know is my true self. And every time I go against that, then I know I go against myself, right? So for me, it's just like, what would my soul have me to do? How would it look if I would act according to my soul's will right now? We all have ways that makes us come back to ourselves, but it is extremely important that we dare to ask ourselves those questions, because in the end, life goes so fast. And we are only here for such a limited amount of time. And we are only here for ourselves, in the sense that when we are gone, no one would thank us for not doing what we came here to do, for not living our purpose to the fullest. No one would ever thank you for pleasing other people's behaviors. It's like so waste of time to act as if we are not worthy when we are worthy all of it. We are worth all of it, all of us. So those old ghosts that live inside of us, that still haunts us, we need to see through so that we can truly start to live. And today we actually have that choice, because we are conscious of what we have and what we do not have. So it is important to remember that we are the ones who have the responsibility. It's no one else's responsibility but ours. And God, even though that, at least as I believe it, I think God is here all the time and cheers on us, and of course wants us to be everything that He knows us to be and to fulfill our potential. But God cannot do much if we, with our free will, choose to not follow that. We are the creator of our lives. And before we take the full responsibility for that, I don't think that we can feel that we are successful. And I don't talk about material success or that we need to be a huge name in the world. When I talk about success, I mean that we live an authentic, happy life that we feel is truly fulfilling for us, and that we are doing what we came here to do. That's, for me, is a successful life. And it has nothing to do with other people. It has nothing to do with status. It has only to do with our individual personal happiness. And the question is if you can allow yourself to be that happy. If you can allow yourself to fulfill your birthright of being worthy of your own happiness by carrying out the discipline in your everyday spiritual life with choosing actions and thoughts that you yourself respect. That is the question. And it's a choice. And even if we don't choose it, we still choose. Even if we say we don't want to choose anything, that's still a choice. Everything is a choice, even if we choose to do nothing. Because that is just how life is designed. So, yeah. That was some reflections of today. I hope you got anything from this, and I wish you a wonderful, happy night and life. Good night from Sweden.